Hello, it's Ren Presents time. I'm your host, Ren, and today we continue with the Belmont Saga, Part 1, Chapter 6, A Friend from Prentiss. So last week, we got through the third and final Lantern letter chapter as Lord Aram gets to read his letter from Lily. And Lily is just gushing. She just loves Lord Aram, and she's not afraid to say it. She tells him that she is ecstatic that he and her Lord Belmont have become good friends, and that they have made each other's acquaintance, and that she feels like Aram is her brother in spirit, and that she understands his heart, and that she greatly admires him, and that she wants to offer him a gift. And the gift being fueled by the mighty great Lantern Paramount is to reveal unto him his future love. That's right, who wouldn't jump at a chance to be able to look into the future and see who your love is gonna be, who's out there for you? Lord Aram is like, I've never been in love. I've never really had much of a love life or any love interests. I've always been too shy, and my brother Ethelrude tells me I'm a frickin' loser and nerd, and who would ever want me? And after some trepidation, Stenstrom opens the lantern, they stick his little note in there, and soon the image of a beautiful woman in a green cloak and white linen smock appears. And Stenstrom tells him looks like a Pilgrim of Marion, that this austere religious order traveling about Cana and elsewhere, preaching an alternative history of the elders. And very benign folk, very impoverished folk. But this woman, her image is enchanting, and Aram is enchanted, and he's like, wow, what would someone like that want with me? And Tara's like, well, why not? You're a great guy. Why not? And then they remember, hey, the apparition of this woman points out the window at Jury's belt, and they remember, oh yeah, Lily said, beware the belt, beware the leeward side of it. And they take out his letter, and the image of the apparition of this woman starts to fade. They stick in Stenstrom's letter, and a tight blue beam appears, and riding the beam, Tara changes course, and she's astonished that all of a sudden the ship's sensors detect a massive object, right in front of them, and it's like big, like a planet big. That would be kind of vertigo-inducing, but as the beam pans away, it disappears, and she's like, well, I know I saw that. And then they see another contact appear. It's small this time, moving fast, like a vessel of some sort. And it's not flying a flag, and that's technically illegal in the League. You can't be tooling around in space in a spaceship without a flag, which is just a broadcast bit of information which signals the name of the ship, the type, crew complement, captain, current orders, and so forth. And your tax status. If you're a civilian and you want to fly in space, you better make sure your taxes are paid up. The maneuvering that Tara did with Aram turning the wheel seems to be effective as the image sort of fades away, and they leave it in the dust, as it were. So that was last week. This week, we continue on. We're done with the Lantern letter chapters. We move on to Chapter 6, A Friend from Prentiss. So let's not dally and muck about. Let's proceed immediately. Part 1, Chapter 6, A Friend from Prentiss. Working the wounded seeker kept the three of them busy for the remainder of the afternoon, putting gloomy thoughts of arcane vendetta circles aside in favor of the more immediate issues, such as the Seeker's tendency to drift and roll. Eventually, the unknown contact they had just managed to avoid drifted off the scopes, and Tara was permitted to perform a long burn of the Westminster's engines, following the meandering course laid out by the lantern's blue beam. She announced they would have to burn correct every 7 hours. For now, they were safely windward of Drury's Belt, and it was good to be busy. Aram was dour and sad behind the helm. His thoughts were riveted on that woman in green. "I wonder who she was," he asked. "Wasn't she pretty?" "Well, she certainly was," Stenstrom said. "You've never seen her before?" No, I'd remember a lady like that. What would she want with the likes of me? That's what my brother would say." "Your brother's a jerk," Tara replied. The lantern sat upon the panel near Tara, its lens issuing the long, tight beam, which had become a comfort for them. They had lashed it down to the panel with disused optical cabling, keeping it from sliding off. I hope she'll like me," Tara laughed. "You know, Rami, I don't think now is a good time to be fixing yourself up a date. She didn't even have the mollucks or nothing." "Well then, Tara, I suppose she's not from Bazz then?" Aram held the wheel, his eyes distant. As far as they could tell, they were on their way to Onaris, following the lantern's beam. Once there, they would use the planet as a slingshot to pick up speed and continue on to their final destination, Bazz. Aram stood there, the helm in his hands. "I feel a lot better now that we're properly underway. It'll be nice to get to Bazz." Where on Bazz are you from again, Tara?" Tara was sitting in the missive's chair, her favorite place to sit, eating another Insta-meal. "Dyson Clampton on the western continent. I'll show you around when we get there, right? You'll love it. You guys like spicy food?" "No," Aram said flatly. "Oh, come on, Aram, you master helmsman, you. Stick with me and I'll have you loving it. You and your lady can try it. That's the one thing I really wish we had some right now. A little hot sauce to give this Insta-meal some bloody life." Aram let go of the helm and walked to the box of meals. He rummaged around. "I thought there was a chicken meal in here." "There was, Aram. I just ate it," Tara replied. He sighed and selected a beef concoction. Stenstrom thought a moment. "Tara, you say everything on Bazz has 2 names, right?" "Yep." "Then how come the name of the place is just Bazz? Shouldn't the name of the planet have 2 names also?" Tara gazed back at him from the missive's chair. For a second, he thought she looked a lot like Crewman Callie, only with sideburns. "Well, I wasn't there when they came up with all that stuff, Belle. When I become the queen of Bazz, I'll fix that problem. We'll call it Bazz. How about that?" Stenstrom laughed. "Well, Tara, how long before we get to Bazz?" "About 10 days. Depends on this old lantern here and how much speed we pick up around Onaris. With this lantern sitting right here, we've got it made." 10 days, that's going to be cutting it close, isn't it?" "Well, that's the best we can do. What are we going to do once we get there?" "Well, I'm hoping, once we fulfill the Admiral's mission, we can get our various legal issues sorted out in earnest, then we can look to the ship." Hey, don't forget about the vendetta curse," Tara said. Right. Once we get our curse issues corrected, we'll refit the Seeker and press in a fresh crew. We'll first need an engineer and a bosun. Those shouldn't be too hard to get, I'm hoping, if we make enough noise. "Can we prowl the docks, Belle? Scope out people, beat 'em up, and bring 'em aboard?" She popped her small fist into her palm. "I'm certain we'll have no trouble finding a willing group to fill our needs, Tara. No need for the hook or for the rough stuff." "Well, it'll be nice to sleep in a real bed once we get to Bazz," Aram said. "Oh, creation! Now you two have got me calling that as well." "Well, addictive, isn't it?" Tara said. "Belle," Aram asked, "those Pilgrims of Marion, can you tell me more about them? I'd like to hear more." "Well, they're..." The comm chattered, interrupting him. "Incoming message, Belle. You want it?" Tara asked from her lit-up missives panel. "Well, who's it from?" Tara looked into the viewer. It's your friend, Captain Gwendolyn. Stenstrom sighed. Are we certain it's her this time? No more mirages? Well, looks like a real comm to me. Well then, sure. She probably wants to yell at me again. Put her on. Go ahead. The bridge's central holocone jumped to life, though the image was still poor at best. There was Lieutenant Gwendolyn standing tall in 3D. This time her eyes were not sunken in and crazed. No gushing blood on her cheek. Captain, it appears I'm not where I'm supposed to be, Stenstrom said from his chair. Is this your declaration of war between us? She stood there a moment in the cone. Paymaster, I would appreciate a word with you in private, if possible. She spoke in a calm, dignified manner. Whatever threats you wish to make to me, you may say it in front of my crew. I would be more at ease speaking to you in private, sir. Stenstrom stood. Tara, please send the comm to my office. My office, yeah. She casually pressed a few buttons. Okay, Belle, no problem. This comm is courtesy of our friend the Lantern here. Hey, don't lock the door, okay? I might want to use the toilet in a bit. Fine. He walked across the bridge and went through the door. There was his office, small, full of windows. In it was the old oak desk where Captain Davidge used to sit, and a fully functioning bathroom. Tara's strut metal sextant sat on the ledge. He opened the comm, which, thanks to one of the stolen generators and the lantern, as Tara pointed out, had power. Captain Gwendolyn appeared on the screen. Paymaster, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak with you in private, she said in her cultured Xenon accent as he sat down. He regarded her, a sturdy-looking lady as before, on the tallish side as with her mirage, her long brown hair tucked into her hat. Rather like Private Tara, she was deceptively good-looking. Of course, Captain, he said, you scared several days and nights worth out of me earlier. Lieutenant Gwendolyn was puzzled. Sorry? I what? Stenstrom laughed. Never mind. So, Captain, still wanting to beat my brains in, are you? She smiled. No, Paymaster, I want to apologize for my outburst earlier. It was unprofessional and rather rude of me. I suppose I've been known for having a hot temper, and perhaps I justly deserve such a reputation. Please forgive my previous lack of manners, and if you wish to file a formal complaint against me, I encourage you to do so. Stenstrom laughed. Oh, please. My first officer doesn't seem to think I would have stood much of a chance against you. Gwendolyn lifted her eyes and looked at him through the comm. Well, sir, if I am to base my response on your appearance, I should say I think you would have fared quite well. Well, thank you. So then, Captain, what's on your mind? She continued. I want to clear the air between us. I want to make it plain that I, like you, have been forced into this situation, and I find it rather uncomfortable. I have no desire to cost you your chair, though the essence of my mission is to do just that. Rather, I must say I have been most impressed with what you have accomplished to date. I simply want to say that I have my orders, and I must carry them out, but that doesn't mean I have to like them, or agree with them for that matter. Furthermore, I want to say that it is my hope that after all this is over and matters have been sorted out, we could sit down like two civilized people, have lunch, and shake hands. Are you trying to say, Captain, that you want to be friends? I would like that, sir, yes. I just want to assure you that what happens over the next few days is not of my making. I'm just following my orders, such as they are. Stenstrom glanced out the windows. The stars appeared to be frozen in place. Far away was Drury's Belt, glowing and ominous. Are you still intending to arrest Private Tara and forcibly return Lord Aram to his slow death at the fleet? Gwendolyn shook her head. No, Paymaster, I have done as you previously suggested. I have sent word to the fleet of your conscription of Lord Aram as helmsman, and your appointment of Private Tara as your first officer. The movements have been logged at fleet and duly noted. There are no further penalties awaiting Private Tara. Her unit appeared to be rather glad to be rid of her, truth be told. However, the Fleet Office and Admiral Derleth demand payment for Lord Aram. It is their right to request compensation. Fine. Whatever they want, I'll pay it. I'll let Tara and Aram know. It'll be a load off their minds. Gwendolyn looked at the floor a moment. Now, Paymaster, I wish to know what your feelings are on this matter. As I have said, I have no desire to cost you your chair, yet I must do my duty. My feelings, Captain? Yes, as you touched upon, I was hoping we could be friends, and that is not simply idle talk. That is my genuine position. I must say I admire your tenacity. Well, how about this, Captain? If you bag me fair and square, you may rest assured that I will sit and lunch with you. You may do your job in the knowledge that I harbor no ill will toward you or any of your crew. If you get me, you get me, and that's that. However, I'm not going to make it easy for you. I intend to fulfill my mission and deliver Admiral Derleth's gasp-inducing brandy to Bazz. Sorry? Gwendolyn replied. To where? Oh, forgive me, it's a habit I've acquired. I'm going to deliver my cargo to Bazz. You will not step on my ship until I have fulfilled my mission, and that is the simple truth. Gwendolyn lit up. So it's settled. I can't tell you how much better I feel having had this conversation with you, Paymaster, now that we understand and appreciate each other properly. I am certain you will give me all I can handle and then some, and I had better be on my top game. Paymaster, do you enjoy playing cards? I'm afraid I don't know any games. And please, Captain, you may call me Belle, short for Belmont. All my friends call me that. She looked at the floor and smiled. Thank you. And you may call me Gwendolyn, or simply Gwen if you prefer. My family calls me that. I would like to teach you a game or two. Playing cards is a passion of mine that I wish to share. I thought boxing was. Well, I like to box as well. Take off some steam, get a little exercise. If you want to box instead of playing cards, we can do that. I have a famous right hook. She seemed to be enjoying the conversation as it advanced from business to more personal matters. Belle, I have heard you can make items appear from thin air. Is that simply a story, or can you actually do such things? Who told you that? Oh, various people. My uncle, for one. Stenstrom raised his hands and showed her his palms. Watch carefully. In a blur, he waved his hands and produced a marzible between his fingers. In another wave, it was gone again. Gwendolyn clapped. Oh, well done, Belle. Now, to prove my good faith, I'll inform you that I expect to arrive at your position after our course corrections in 4 hours. I have a fully functioning Techo-class scouting ship at my disposal, and I have been authorized by Fleet to use whatever means necessary to board your vessel, including disabling it. You have my word. I'll not do such a thing. Thank you, Captain. I mean, Gwendolyn. But you needn't hold back because of me. Do what you feel you need to do, and I shall do the same. Gwendolyn looked at him over the comm screen. So, Belle, can you assure me that your life support and other critical systems are functioning well enough to sustain you and your people? Both myself and my hospitaller are genuinely concerned about you. I can. The items we borrowed from Dry Dock 275 are working rather well. We have fresh air and a fair amount of power. We even have a fully functioning bathroom. Gwendolyn seemed surprised. Shipboard plumbing requires extensive training and experience. I am amazed by your industry. Necessity begets industry. How did you manage that? We shunted power in from the Westminster. Really? Gwendolyn said. Do you have any engineering skills, Belle? That's a fairly complicated procedure. I don't. Private Tara did it. She did? Well, that's very impressive. She must have some experience in that area. I have a degree in engineering from the University of Arden, and I'd hope to sit on the engineer's chair of a larger fleet ship someday. See my pin here? Over the screen, she pointed to a tiny pin on her lapel. It was the same kind of pin his sister Lyra now wears on her gown. He recalled the circle Tara had mentioned. He'd seen Gwendolyn's face in Lily's lantern light. She was in the circle, too. He recalled her mirage on the bridge, eyes sunken and crazed, face hollow, blood gushing, full of delirium. That's a very difficult degree to achieve, so I'm told. You've cause to be most proud. I believe my sister is currently matriculating at the University of Arden as well, though not in engineering. She sat down and appeared to relax a little. She even took off her hat. Belmont is a Xenon house, yes? I think, geographically speaking, that we are neighbors. I am from Prentiss, just a ways north from you, I think. Well, I grew up in Tyrol near my mother's holdings, but my cousins still live in the Xenon region. Tyrols are of the Ester line, correct? Well, officially, but Tyrols consider themselves a tribe apart. They have gray hair, if I'm not mistaken. It's called pewterlock. It's more of a silver color. My mother had a proud head of pewterlock hair, and many of my sisters have it. I have more of the Belmont look with black hair. If I may say, Gwen, you appear to be rather taller than a typical Xenon girl. Gwendolyn laughed. Well, not all Xenon girls are petite. Prentiss girls are fairly tall. I am just a shade under 6 feet, which is normal in my family. May I ask, how tall are you, sir? It's an odd thing to ask, but I'm most curious. I'm 6'7". I'm a lot taller than both my mother and father and all of my sisters. I'm not sure where it comes from. Captain? Gwen, please. Gwen, may I ask an odd question of you? Certainly. Thank you. Have you sustained an injury to your right cheek lately, as from a sword cut? Gwendolyn appeared puzzled. She reached up and touched her cheek. My cheek? No, not that I'm aware of. Why do you ask? I had a dream recently where your cheek was injured and bleeding. She laughed. You're dreaming of me, are you, Paymaster? Yes, apparently so. Gwendolyn's panel lit up and she glanced at it. She pressed a few buttons and then resumed the conversation. Well, I look forward to putting this business behind us, and I am certain that we'll laugh over it someday soon. I have to return to my duties. As we are friends now, would you please promise me that you will contact us immediately should your life support situation change? Sure, I promise. Good. So, Belle, until we meet again, and we shall meet again, make no mistake, I bid you good luck and fly safe. And to you, good luck, Gwendolyn, Lady Apprentice, for you shall need it. Oh, Belle, one more thing. Yes? You posed an odd question, and now I have one for you. I must know that mask you wear. Why do you wear a mask? Well, it's a long story. I say after all this is over and I've delivered my cargo to Bazz, we'll sit down and have a nice dinner, and I'll tell you all about it, the whole sorry story. How does that sound? Gwendolyn lit up in a smile and put her hands together. Well, I will look forward to it. And with that, we conclude Part 1, Chapter 6, A Friend from Prentiss. So, thanks to the lantern, the ship is almost operating like a normal ship. It's not. I mean, most of the ship is dead, but they're on the bridge and in his office. They're just fine. They got good, clean air. They've got a flushing toilet. They've got Instameals. They got some bottled water. They are good to go. They've got full control of the Westminster parked in its forward-facing bay. They can burn it when they want, turn it when they're not. use it as a drive engine and as a banker if they need it. It's pretty much status quo with the lantern sitting there. But it's not going to sit there for very long, is it? Is it? No, no, no. That lantern will be going bye-bye real soon. That would be way too easy. Oh, God. What came over me? I don't know. Anyways, Stenstrom gets a comm message from Gwendolyn. It's been actually pretty quiet on the comms, and we know Admiral Derleth has comms blacked out in the area. But Gwendolyn is able to reach him, and she is apologetic for how she reacted earlier. And she says, I'm sorry. I've been known to have a hot temper, and I guess I deserve that reputation. And if you want to press a complaint against me for my rude behavior, I encourage you to do so. And he's like, oh, really? Fine. And they start talking, and Gwendolyn indicates that she admires Paymaster Stenstrom and that she would like to be friends. And we know from the previous book that she knew about Paymaster Stenstrom previously, that her uncle and her aunt often spoke of him in very derisive terms, that he was a person to be despised and hated. But Gwendolyn had no reason to hate him, and she was always wondering, he's not much older than I am. We're about the same age, and I'm just a kid, and he's just a kid. And what could he have possibly done to earn your vile hatred of him? Nothing. And she would start to think in her head, that maybe she would like to meet this person and become friends, and that sort of thing. As she mentioned, she loves playing cards, and mostly she plays just solitary card games because most of her crew is afraid of her because of her temper and her connections and so forth. But she offers Stenstrom, I'd like to teach you a few games of cards when we sit down and have our lunch at the fleet after all this is over. They made up and became tertiary friends, which is good. Now, next chapter, part 1, chapter 7, Standoff, where Gwendolyn catches up with the Seeker, and it's on, where she's trying to get aboard and he's trying to keep her off. Though they've come to an agreement, or at least she did, that the fleet gave her carte blanche to do whatever she wanted, including shooting the ship up. But she promised, I'm not going to do that. I have no intention of killing you or destroying your ship in space. We'll do this above the board. I'm going to get aboard, and then when we get back to fleet, I'll help you sort things out, because I have my orders, but I don't really agree with them. Anyways, we will see that next week. And as I said, don't get used to that goddamn lantern being there for much longer, because with it there's no drama or plot. No, it's not going to happen. Anyways, until then, this is Ren Presents. I am your host, Ren. Peace out.